And one of our guest speakers talked about that yesterday, how her daughter was being bullied by a loved one based on his feelings because of their past relationship with each other. You know? So there's a whole lot of components here, and we all have, I think every situation is different, but I think we have to turn our eyes on it more so and pay more attention, and stop saying, well, it's none of my business. It is our business. So that's just my opinion.
Do you think that also we need to stop letting our children be engrossed in these devices that they're on constantly?
Good question. Yeah.
I know
that's exactly what I would say.
Yeah, in the older days.
We spend too much time with our phones in our hands.
Yes.
We spend way too much time with our phones in our hands. We don't have that one-on-one. You know, my son was in the habit of, he's in college, but he could be home on break or summer break. We're in the house, and he's texting me. Finally, I said to him, I am not going to respond to you anymore if you text me while you are in this house. Just when you do that, we do rely on our devices more so, and they're privy to so much more information.
Yes.
Everything is in the palm of their hand.
Everything.
And so when you post videos on World Star with these kids being beaten up and major mass fights and so forth, I mean, that's what our children are seeing. They're seeing this, and it's right there in their fingertips.
And they're becoming numb to it, you think?
That's a good point,
I think they come to it when they think it's funny. They don't take it seriously to tell someone's life is taken. And that's the issue that I have with this. You know, the prevention, not apologies, is very, very profound to me. Just those words. You know, you're okay with it when it's funny. Oh, it's just her mocking her today because he looks different than everybody else. But when that child decides, okay, I'm going to take my life, then it was, well, I didn't mean it.
Yeah, you meant it when you said
it.
So we need to start taking them more seriously.
Taking them more seriously. So let me ask you, I'm going to ask this one simple question. I didn't plan on it because I had talked, we did the gun, we had the episode, the Florida shooting, and I asked my son, was it that bad? So he went to Wise. And it is that bad, he said. What people don't know about Wise, and yes, call me if you want, I'm putting y'all on blast, is that for me, it's supposed to be the good-looking school, if y'all don't know. It's supposed to be the good-looking school, okay? Everybody's good-looking child is there, and that's one of the things that they have on their school. Good-looking kids there. Some of them look like they're about 30 with, you know, kids and a wife, but not the point. The security guards there are part of the bullying.
Oh, wow.
But they're unionized. So, you know, my letters and my emails ain't do nothing because oh my God, they've done so many things, but they can't fire them. Wow. You know, we had a police, Prince George's County Police in the school, but you can't fire them. So, yeah, they on blast. What can you do? Nothing. Put you on blast. My question is, when did the shift happen? And I'm going to tell you what I mean. I was young. I was a bully. And I got bullied. And we all bullied. I fought my friend 3 and 4 times. I'm going to beat your butt tomorrow. No, I won that one. No, you ain't win this one. That's how it was. And they moved on to the next person. I practiced in the mirror. I practiced with my friends. I called my friends and said, hey, this is what I'm going to say. You say this when I say this. And we ready. I'm going to throw my books down. That was it. People went in, the men most of the time went in the circle, the guys. And went in the circle, took their shirts off. Hooray for the shirts off, okay? And they fought. And if you win, you know, you win, you can come back again. If you lose, I mean, it was a hierarchy of things. If you win twice, don't come back. You're not going. But if it's a tie, you could break the tie, and that would be it, and we would move on. When did the shift happen? Was it social media? Was it grandparents becoming very young grandparents? Where was the shift? What do you think?
Well, I'm not gonna say, this is Lisa, I don't, I was bullied when I was younger. And it wasn't until I stood up for myself, I was the dark-skinned, not long, pretty hair girl. And, I didn't consider myself cute or anything like that. And because of my skin, I was skinny, and then I got fat, and then I wore glasses. And so I went through all of that. But when I decided that I was going to stand up for myself, and that doesn't necessarily mean physical. Sometimes you can speak. I have a very authoritative voice.
Yes, you do.
And so I've always had this voice. And so when I say something, I mean it. And so it didn't take me to necessarily be physical, so to speak, but I just think that people bully love who they can pick on. So I don't think it ever shifted. I think it was always there. I think now, because social media, we can just hear about it more. We can see it more. But I think it's always been prevalent. And until we do something on a national level, like pass a law that criminalizes bullying, it's going to continue to exist.
Pass a law. So Lynette said when the shift happened when there was no more of the village. Lynette, I'm going to say, I won't be able to bring you in right now, but I'm going to say I understand that completely, because for me, I don't know if whatever neighborhood you grew up in, but for me, if I got in trouble up the street, that's a double beating. And then they could beat me. I never really got beaten, up the street or a neighbor's house. Well, yeah, I did. I ain't gonna lie. I was bad. Okay, yeah. And I fought all the time. But I got in trouble. The neighbors could do that. Also, I could eat at the neighbor's house. But I could be beat and get a beating from anybody, track team, whatever. And then that was a double or triple beating when I got in the house. So Lynette saying when there was a village, it was okay. But then now that there's no village, that's not okay. What do you think, JV?
Did your parents know you were bullying other people?
Nope.
Okay.
Of course they didn't. I would have got in trouble. What are you talking about? Of course not.
Exactly.
No, they didn't. They didn't know I was bullied.
So how do we do something about it if the parents don't really know about it?
Oh, good. I didn't know you would leave me there. Sorry. I didn't know you would leave me there. Yeah, that sounds bad. Okay.
And I'm speaking from a parent's point of view, because a lot of these students are out here bullying other kids, and the parents don't know. They're not coming home saying, I'm bullying someone. And so, like in my case, I was bullied by a young lady, and I'm sure she wasn't going home telling her mother that she was bullying me. She was the sweetest thing when she was with her parents.
Like a sweet cookie or something, wasn't she, JV?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So is it that we need to start showing up at the bus stop a day or two out the month to see what's going on, when the kids are getting off the bus with your children? Or what is some of the things that we need to start doing to try to figure out what's going on with our kids?
This is Shant'a, yes. You guys have said so many things. I'm going to try to stick on this one because I wanted to go back to several things. But some of the things that we need to do is, one is to communicate. You guys talked about the devices in the kids' hands, and we have to learn how to have those old conversations, those genuine conversations with our children. And a lot of people need to stop trying to be their kids' friends. That's why a lot of them don't know what's going on. I definitely tell my kids all the time, I'm not your friend. I'm not your pal. But we're going to have this, I'm going to make it so that we have open dialogue so that I can know about, what's going on. Even though, like I said, this organization originated because my daughter was bullied, but she had a twin. Her and her twin were talking about it, but I knew something wasn't going on, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And before I could actually go into the details to ask my kids, it happened so quickly with the attack. But we have to learn how to communicate, listen, look for the signs. So we have to educate ourselves on what's different about our kids, or what are our kids involved in, or is our kids the one that's being bullied, where they're going into a shell now. They used to be a social butterfly, just to name a few things. but the main piece is communicating, having that open line of communication and talking and being involved with your kids. I know a lot of times we're busy at working, we might work several jobs, it's hard, and what have you, but that is the missing piece.
That's the missing
Communicate, know what to look for, educate yourself on it. And also the other part I wanted to touch on is each state, different states have different laws. There is laws and policies in place. Parents Against Bullying is partners with the Attorney General's office, Commonwealth Attorney's office. So we're constantly in at the table with them, and we're constantly in workshops and doing different things. So you have to educate yourself and know what's going on in your state. And you have to, as a parent, I had to learn how to read that handbook. You know how you get that handbook and sometimes you just sign it when they bring all the stuff home to sign the first day of school, night home from school. Read it and make it your best friend, because those things in there that are in that fine print are things that you need to know about, because 9 times out of 10 there's some laws and some policies that are in place that will save your life and your child's life, or something that you may have to use to stand and advocate for your child. You need to learn how to be an advocate and not be a friend to your child, but advocate for them and know what to do and how to do it.
Okay. That's a great comment, but I'm still looking for the side of how do we know if our child is a bullier, a person that is bullying other people. And I'm speaking on that specifically because I became this person's friend after a while, but after they bullied me for several years. But I got to know her and her family life and her mother and everybody, and they had no idea of what this child was doing. It was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And if we go to the parent, even if I discovered that a child is bullying my child, how do I even go to that parent and say, your child is bullying my child? Or, that is such a touchy subject right there.
Oh, I got an answer.
Again, we have to educate our. Go ahead, Shant'a. No, I was going to say again that we're not going to have all the answers to all these things. I know that we want to, but that's one that's the $1 million question. How do you know that your child is bullied? If you don't catch them in the act, or someone hasn't told you, and this child is acting like the perfect person, or somewhat of a straight and narrow person, or what have you, then how would you know? I mean, I can't answer that. I mean, and I'm a mother first. I wish I had that $1 million answer, but I don't have that. You just have to pray that it comes to you, and when it does, like you said that you learn to become that person's friend, and you met their family. I mean, timing is everything, and prayerfully nothing tragic happens throughout that time before you actually find out, if you ever find out.
Wow. I think, do we believe that our kids, like my kids were bad? I was always at the school. That's how I knew. If my child was a bully, I was always shadowing, I was bad and my kids were bad. I got ya. But is it one of the ways is to believe, if not to believe that our child is Jesus Christ and walks on water, and not put anything past our child, like, well, I know it's your child and you believe that they're good and all this other stuff. No, my kids were bad. I didn't call them bad, but they were bad. And what you can't do is you can't talk about my child. Okay, you can't do that. But they're not perfect. I know they do little stuff. So you got to be little investigators. Aren't women investigators anyway? We can't investigate like.
So we need to encourage parents to be open to dialogue if someone comes to them about their child being someone that bullies. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Because we have so many parents that do not, like she just said, you cannot say anything to them about their children. And I think that's a lot of the issues that we're having. Children know that you can't go to their parent and say anything about them.
Not now they can. They know, they be like, you ain't gonna tell my mother or tell my mother.
Yeah, I've heard so many situations where don't say nothing to me, and really they want to get violent with you about you trying to tell them that they're bothering your child.
Right, and so someone said check their diaries, check their Facebook, and things of that nature. I think the communication is the biggest key. I worked. I was, I wouldn't say I was a single mother. I kind of look at that thing a little different, but I will say that I did little stuff with the kids. We played games. We had game night. We did those kind of things. And a lot of times they'd be like, oh, hey, Mom, hey, Miss Holmes, or whatever. And they'd be like, oh, your son did this to me. Then I'd have to find out the real story. And yes, my daughter would tell it. But my son, I swear for God. So.
But you were open to the dialogue.
Absolutely. My kids were bad. They didn't walk on water. You couldn't come to my kid and be like, oh, yeah, you did this and that. Then I want to fight you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I fought all the time. And so I still had that fighter's mentality. I want to fight you. But back in the day, you came over to the house. You can't really do that now with these parents. I've tried to do it and I got cussed out, not by the mother because we're friends, but the father let me have it. I was all kind of bees. He wanted to fight me. My son was right there. In hindsight, I wouldn't have done that. If you know my son, you probably don't know my son is, he's light skinned, and so he turned beet red. It was a fight. Oh, it was just awful. And so sometimes the parents, not sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of times the parents want to fight you too and will fight your kids. And so then what do you do then? I heard it from the horse's mouth.
I have a quick question, ladies. Is it the obligation of the school to, if you go to the school and report that a child is bullying your child, is it their obligation to consult with the child's parents, or how does that process work?
Well, I was told that, and this is Lisa, I was told that that is the course of action that is supposed to happen. Parents are not allowed to engage with each other, the students are not allowed, but if you report something happening with your child to a school administrator, they are supposed to investigate. They're supposed to take every situation seriously. And I think when situations like we've seen recently with the two, with the young lady at Seed High School, there were times that things were going on. There were parents complaining that there was bullying going on behind those walls, and the administration was not doing anything.
Okay.
So the correct steps are to report it. And I'm like this: if I'm not getting a response from teachers, administrators of the school, and I have a young child in school, thank God my children didn't have to go through this, but if that were the case, I would take it higher. I'm going to the Board of Education.
Okay.
I'm taking it to my superintendent. I'm not going to stop this. For every no, there's 10 no's. You're eventually going to get a yes. You know, somebody's going to have to listen to me.
Yes.
And I think that's where the ball was dropped. Like, you know, the parents weren't being resilient in that.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know Shant'a can speak directly to that.
Real quick, we're going to bring this caller in real quick, and then I'm going to let you finish. Caller with the last 4 digits of 4983. You're on with Connected City. May we have your name, please?
This is Jamon Darnell.
Good.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much for calling in. We're going to let her finish this dialogue real quick, and then we want to hear what you have to say about this important topic.
And mute yourself as well if you can.
So you were saying when I brought the caller in, you were getting ready to say?
This is Lisa. I was turning it over to Shant'a to say, you know, give her insight, because she has a young daughter who was dealing with this, and how maybe she could tell you how she handled it.
Okay.
Remember when I was saying to you about the special handbook? I know in Virginia there's a law in Virginia schools that they have to investigate. If it is reported, it is by law they have to do something about it immediately. There is no tolerance for bullying in the state of Virginia in the school system.
Oh,
but it has to be reported, and you have to advocate, you have to follow up with it.
That is wonderful. Love
I didn't
love it.
say that.
Yes. Darnell, would you like to make a comment, Mr. Darnell?
Yeah, I definitely will. All right, so, first of all, thank you for having me. And I think it's a very important topic, and I've been paying attention to a lot of what's going on in this house. The thing that's missing is we're not, like, I'm listening, and we too parent-y. Like, No, you don't want to be too much of your kid's friend, but it's best to be your kid's friend because who else are you going to get some information out of them if you're not in their trusted circle? So how do you do this? How do you do that? You learn from your children. We've always called them to help us with things that we want them to help us with, and then send them on. No, let's go and let's learn from them. Let them teach us as we teach them. As it is greatest to give than it is to receive, so let them give us a lesson. Naturally, let them give us a lesson as we can receive one, and it makes it easier. And what are we doing? We're developing a habit for them to communicate with us on all levels, on any level. Because they're not feel free and feel great about being able to talk to their parents by teaching them. Because they go, my mom or my dad doesn't know this. So what happens in the future? When they're getting bullied or when anything is happening in their life that is out of place, they're going to automatically have the habit of saying, Mom, Dad, this is what is happening. Automatically. We have to learn how to develop that line of communication and being open to let them teach us. We're too busy trying to tell them what to do, trying to teach them. We're in a new time, a new era. We're of the industrial age. These children of today are of a digital age, and we need to allow them to teach us some things so we'll know who's bullying. And when it comes to bullying, go up to the school, grab a hold of the bully, talk to him.
Grab a hold.
Nah, he right. Exactly. Where your mama at? Yep, he right.
No. When you grab a hold of them, say like, peacefully, and find out what's missing and what's happening and for what reason. And then inflict some bullying on him too, or her too, so they'll understand. This is how you make others feel.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't have any problems out of no children. I go to my kids' school,
Exactly.
The faculty knows me, the kids know me, some of the kids' parents respect me and honor me as I come through, because I take and I let those kids talk to me and show me their stuff. So when something happens, they'll tell me. They go, Mr. Brown, Mr. Jamal, this guy right here is a bad guy, or he likes to steal, or he doesn't do this.
He likes to steal.
He gets a reputation, huh?
That's funny.
Because we have developed most of our children into this don't snitch culture type of thing, like don't snitch.
Snitches get
Somebody
stitches.
do something
If you
and you don't snitch. What type of criminal are you trying to raise? That's criminal activity. That's the code for crime. Don't snitch. But if somebody does something, say something. Why?
Well, thank you.
turn the radio.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for that. Yeah, we have another caller that we want to bring in real quick.
He needs to turn his radio down.
Caller with the last 4 digits of 9565. You're on with Connect the City. May we have your name, and may you please turn down your radio
Or TV.
or your TV or whatever it is in the background. We appreciate it.
My name is Mary Ziegler. I am Lisa Terrell's mother that's called in.
Oh, thank you so
Hi,
much.
how are you, Mary?
Appreciate you calling in.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
It's a family affair. We love it.
You know what I did?
Thank you.
You know what I did one time, Shant'a and Lisa, one time, because I did, you volunteer in the schools and stuff like that. And so, the kids are loud and stuff like that. And so what I had a student do, I've done this many times, is get up in front of the class, and I had everybody just talking like they're not paying attention. The same person that was being like a bully or being a troublemaker. And they kind of saw like, oh, that doesn't feel good. So that's how it feels when I'm talking while the teacher's trying to talk. So it's a lot of little different ways that I feel like you could do stuff. It's just, I'm just so discouraged with this teen suicide. They're doing it because they're being bullied. They're leaving notes. And the Latina girl, I only say the Latina girl because she was 14 years old and she was being bullied. So she took her own life, and when she was dying, and then they came from the hospital, they bullied her after her death. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
They put a picture up of a grave and a bed. Yes. What is maybe it's just me. I'm
It's
old school.
awful.
I just can't. I'm kicking butt, taking names. I just can't do it. I'm not gonna resolve it peacefully. I'm just not. I'm sorry. It's so awful to say. I know, but I'm not that peaceful when it comes to my children and you bullying, and I don't let my children be bullies. They will get a butt whipping for that too. What happened to butt whippings? Nobody does that anymore? No, okay, I got you.
Yes. Exactly. No more.
I got the switch and everything. So, Miss Ziegler, thank you for calling in. Love to hear your voice. What do you have to say about this bullying and teen suicide?
Are you there?
Yes, I sure am.
Well, I know that you all are discussing what we can do to improve our relationships with and communications with our children. What I found in the school system, and I've worked in the school system out on a college level, is that there is a failure for the school to promote no tolerance of bullying campus-wide, along in the lines of what the federal law may say in each state and jurisdiction, or in, for instance, the District of Columbia. So therefore, each school is probably operating on its own and handling situations and not handling them. So what I suggest is that there has to be a mandate for every school to have a no tolerance. Put it on the billboard entering the property of the school, and on every hallway, make it known that the property staff, administration, teacher, janitor, bus driver, and the students will accept no bullying because there will be an authoritative rule set to take care of it. But while we're addressing the issue at home, we have to do something to force accountability within the school and other places that the children are visiting. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much.
How do you get the school? How do you get the schools to become more accountable? Do we have to call the school board? Are we writing petitions? Like, what are we doing? Because I love that Virginia says it's not tolerated. Period. It's a law. How do we get that done in the counties in Maryland and DC schools?
Well, this is Shant'a, can I?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
This is Shant'a. We have what's called Parents Against Bullying, No Bully Zones. And because of the fact that you have to be a reinforcer, even though the state of Virginia has the laws, we have to hold each school, each place, whatever location accountable for that. So we have what's called a no bully zone, and what that means is that each company, whether it's a school, we have them in stores, just like you have no smoking zone. We have no bully zones in all the mall. We have it with Office Depot. We have it with 18 of our boys and girls clubs. And when they take the pledge to be a no bully zone, that is holding that's saying that that's a safe haven for people to be able to report it. We have partners that you can contact to connect with, because domestic violence is bullying. If you have to report it through there, you have to report bullying, and the police need to be contacted. We have a partnership with the police departments here. So it's all about pushing the message and holding people accountable for it, even though the laws are in place. We partner with Parents Against Bullying, partner with them to make sure that we hold the schools and whatever else accountable as having the no bully zone. So yes, ma'am, I do agree with that, because that's something that we are doing.
Are we putting signs up to say this is a, you know how you have the signs up saying this is a no bully zone, or, you know, something like that?
If you go on our website, you can see some of the signages that are on different locations. There's signs. There's the clean window signs. There's hanging signs. It just depends on what location it is. There's big signs that sit in the mall area at their water towers or what have you that stand up, that are waterproof, that have our hands. It says no. We partner with Parents Against Bullying, the no bully zone, and they have to go through training and workshops so they can know how to handle it once they are contacted because of some bullying going on. So it's all about the partnerships and the relationships that you build, and have this particular initiative that we're doing here to continue to grow.
Gotcha.
Excellent. One of the gentlemen on my Facebook, Mr. Mayor, and I know I'm not saying that right, so I apologize, sir. He said he wonders what the percentage of special needs students are being bullied. Many are unable to defend themselves. Just the thought. I mean, that's a whole nother show, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I wish you would, but you know what? I'm old school, so I'm handling it another way. I'm calling you mama. But is there a percentage of the special needs being bullied? Oh, that's just cruel.
I think they're protected a lot, though.
Aren't they
Aren't they,
protected?
ladies?
Millie, no ma'am, and, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to share with Millie, if you do decide to do a show on that, Dakita Brown, who works with the LSC as a consultant and did a skit at the rally yesterday. She has a special needs child with positive special needs, let's put it that way, because she does clarify that. And you can have her explain why she does not allow you to say the opposite of what I just said.
Okay.
But she deals with that with her daughter, and there is a form of bullying that goes on. And well, let's look at it this way: the young man from Ballou High School was autistic, was being bullied for the use of his phone, and they beat him. So that answers that question right there.
Okay.
What, does it happen, and what percentage is a great percentage?
Yes.
I know that we are nearing the end of the show. We appreciate everybody calling in. I know Lynette had something to say about the bullying and things. Lynette, go ahead.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say when she was talking about the guy from young guy from Blue. It's bad. I mean, it's bad all the way around, but I live in North Carolina. When I was hearing people talk about a young girl at the private school that committed suicide in the closet, and then the young guy in Blue, when I hear people from other states talking about it, I had to address it. But I can't tell you how many times I was so much pressure as an adult, teenager adult, that I wanted to take my life because it was just so much pressure. So when you mentioned about Millie, about back in the day, when we had the fights in the neighborhood, we had the fights in the school, that was at home. So my mom was a teacher, and then the bus driver would get involved. You know, when you put those rights away about you can't do this, can't do that, they left the door and cracks open for every avenue. Because when I said about that village, when you did something at school, before I could tell my mother got a phone call, and she was a teacher in Charles County. But when you took those rights away, I just say we need to bring, what I said on my show was, I asked people how many houses they have in their neighborhood. If they all get together and do a petition and then tell the cops, these are all the houses, if we need you, we'll call you. If it's a false alarm, if the kid calls you, don't come because we already have them. And I think with the parents' night, they need that no bullying zone. They talk about the no drug zones. When they have a parent night, I don't have kids, but what are they doing with those parents' nights? Are they?
Nobody's coming.
Parents coming.
No, parents aren't coming. They're not coming to the PTA. I was vice president. Proud of it, but nobody came. Nobody came. The most people came was when I got Russ Parr. Don't even ask me how I got Russ Parr to come. That was umpteen years ago to come. People came, I guess they thought they were going to get free stuff. And he mentioned that also. That's why I always, no matter what, I mess with Russ Parr. And nobody came except when he came, and that was it.
Or if you send a note home saying if you don't come, your child can't come back to school.
And so where is the line drawn? Because I forgot what stated in the upper actually Google it. There is something, the word